This is a PMD Thorax done in the general style of Vince Marinaro. It's a more modern fly, though. The wings are shorter. And one thing I never liked about Marinaro's original fly was I just felt the wings were too tall. Here's a really good example, and this is the one I'll show the tying sequence for. You see how high this wing is? It makes the fly very tough to fish. The wings are mounted in the very center of the fly, or just slightly ahead of center. And this is a very old way of mounting wings that's not used very much anymore. Was used typically with fan wings. And on a true Marinaro fly, these would be cut wings, or they would be burned with wing burners. And I actually tried a pair or two and just didn't like the results I was getting. So I switched to just plain wood duck. And this is going to be a light Cahill. Marinaro liked his tails to be completely off the water. So he tilted his tails up a lot, and he also split the tails. And I'll do that here. In his book, he talks about taking turns underneath the tails, as I'm doing. And then he talks about doing figure eights and separating out the wings, or the tailing sections. I like to take a loop around each and then a loop around the shank. That sort of will lock in the split. If I don't take a loop around the shank, it seems that I affect the other tail with whatever I do. So a stock figure eight doesn't work for me. Tails are split and they're tilted up quite a bit. And this is what he wanted. Be honest, I'm not sure how much I agree with this. I don't think it's necessary to tilt the tails up. There's been an ongoing argument concerning that for, 100 years. Fur dubbing is critical for this fly, in my estimation. You want fur dubbing. And I'll show you why here shortly. And I've got fox fur because this is a light Cahill. Red fox fur for this, and just made it myself with my fingertips. Now the thorax, this is called a thorax done for a reason. You really need to build up the thorax considerably on this fly, and it needs to be done with very loose dubbing, not tightly wrapped, and not tightly applied to the thread either. Just kind of a medium application. The reason for this is when we wrap the hackles, we want the stems to dig down into the dubbing a little bit. And that will make them stay put, or help them stay put, certainly. And just when you think you've got your thorax about right, do some more loose dubbing. You want about 3 turns in front of the wing and a few more behind the wing, going back, extending back. And he wanted a smooth transition, not a big ball. I've seen these tied with a big ball of dubbing right at the wings, which is nice to separate out the hackle turns, but that's not what Marinaro wanted. Tie in a long neck hackle right on top of the hook. This hackle should be the size of the hook or one size smaller. At times, Marinaro used 2 hackles to accomplish this. The idea is you want the shorter fibers to be to make up the forelegs, and that is so the fly will land with its tails in the air. You're going behind the wing and underneath the wing, then up on top. You're gonna make an X with the hackle. Now here we go right behind the wing, just to turn around, and we start going the other way, the other direction. And I'm not trying to hook this hackle at the base of the thorax. I'm kind of trying to go in the middle of the thorax. We want this hackle at a 45-degree angle. And then this is tricky. You've got to catch the hackle, not catch any of, catch the hackle stem and not catch any of the hackle fibers that you've just tied in. And this is what makes this fly difficult to do. I found there was a huge difference between using fur dubbing and any other kind of dubbing I had. With other dubbings, this fly became incredibly difficult, and with superfine, it was almost impossible. The problem is the thorax is, after you're done winding it with superfine, is kind of hard, and the turns of hackle just slide off it. It's another little tricky deal here. Just a little bit of dubbing here. And you're going to wind back to the hackle, trying not to trap very much of the hackle. Then go to the eye and do a whip finish. Now I can see here that I've gotten the dubbing, my dubbing, a little bit too far back. And I've got a stray here. Yeah, I'll get that. Dubbing is a little bit too far back, and it's pushing the forelegs, I'll call them, of the insect back. So I'll use my scissors and try to get them back to where they were in the first place, which I liked. I had that X look to begin with, and now I don't. Ultimately, I tugged on it and got it back in shape. Here's the finished fly. The only thing I don't like about Marinaro's fly are the high wings. As sound as Marinaro's theories were, this fly was never all that successful. It was too difficult to tie. As important as it is to have a high wing as a trigger, the fly doesn't fish very well if you tie it as Marinaro did. There's a more modern version of the thorax. It's not a true thorax in any way, but it's generally that idea, and I'll do that one in another video. This fly catches fish like crazy and is a great fly. It's just my opinion that the wing could be a little shorter.